Why are introverts better public speakers than introverts? Did you know that California's population is made of 75% extroverts and 25% introverts? So you would think that introverts are less likely to be better at public speaking, but why are we acting like they aren't? The power of introverts in a world that can't stop thinking. Introverts are great listeners, which makes them so unique and attentive to their needs of their audience, which makes them better speakers. And I will be stating why. Sam Shepard quoted that introverts also tend to be highly observant and great listeners, enabling them to easily connect with their audience and work in the room, as well as quickly respond to how they are saying and receiving their information. I interpret this question to me as yes, they always might be quiet, and introverts don't ever have much to say, but whenever they're gonna speak facts and they're gonna speak well due to their and attentive hearing and watchful eyes. I do agree to a certain extent that they are great speakers. It doesn't mean that extroverts are not great speakers, but we tend to exclude introverts as great public speakers because of their shyness, which is one of the myths that we consider introverts as public speaking. We will be examining this through 3 lenses of analysis. First, I will talk about how to understand introverts. Second, I will talk about misconceptions of introverts and their creativity. And finally, I will like to celebrate introverts' voices and public speaking. According to Jonathan Cheeks, a psychology professor at Wesley College, stated that a blog of science in the US that there are 4 types of introverts. There's social introverts, thinking introverts, anxious introverts, and restrained introverts. Let's understand a little bit more of these social introverts. Typically, social introverts is a person who always says no to going out and having a social life when it comes to big crowds. Thinking introversion like to stay home from parties and they say no to going to them, but even at home they think about awkward scenarios that haven't happened. Let's talk about complicated, right? Thinking introverts also do a lot of self-reflection on themselves, which typically these are the people with high level of thinking. Restrained introverts means it takes you a while to get going. You don't jump out of bed early to get ready and embrace the day like a lot of people do. We typically hear this a lot when someone says it takes them a while to warm up or to blossom. Anxious introverts are typically antisocial and they restrain a lot from people, which they isolate themselves a lot because of the anxiety they feel, and they do a lot of self-reflection as well, and an anxious delivery is what they don't want to give. Introverts have been misunderstood for a very long time. For example, many people look at them as being shy, antisocial, or something unkind. Introverts are actually some of the most thoughtful and observant people to be. For example, since they are very quiet, observant, and that's the fact that makes them great listeners. You have more of ability to be creative as they listen. They won't share out loud just yet, but they definitely have a draft in their head, which leads them to great speakers because they have definitely thought this throughly. Now let's look at how to celebrate introverts in public speaking. Public speaking is a powerful reminder that effective communication isn't limited to introverts' traits, like charisma or outrageous. Introverts can bring unique strengths to public speaking, such as deep, thoughtful thoughts, careless preparation, careful preparation, the ability to listen attentively to others. Here are a few ways we can celebrate the harness and strengths of introverts in the world of public speaking. Introverts often excel in deep reflection, which this can lead into a powerful speech that is well crafted and insightful. They may take more time to consider their own words, making their communication more deliberate and meaningful. That's great. Introverts tend to be more in tune with their emotions, which they also are more in tune into other people's emotions, which they can put themselves in other people's shoes because they themselves feel like they can understand the whole world. This emotional intelligence allows them to convey empathy, sincerity, and authenticity in their speeches, helping to build stronger emotional connections with their audience. What more do we need? In this world, in a world that can't stop talking, Kane says that introverts are phenomenal listeners, which makes them uniquely attuned to their needs and their audience needs, which makes them better public speakers. We interpret this quotation to mean that never underestimate the ability of an introvert. Never judge a book by its cover just because they aren't loud ones and vocal about everything they think about. It doesn't mean their minds don't have big words. Their mouths may be quiet, but their mind is very loud. I agree with this quotation because through the information I just shared, I believe we learned a little bit more insight about the benefits of introverts and public speaking. I have a better public understanding about how introverts do make it doesn't make them better public speakers, but it makes them great public speakers to us, to the people that underestimate them. We look at this through the three examples. First, understanding and how they are as people, looking into their misconceptions that are carried, and lastly, celebrating them because they are great public speakers. I bet some of you guys didn't know you guys were great public speakers. Have a nice day.